Hello, you peeps, this is Edo here for another Let's Play of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Here with me is Nightshade.
We're here for the truth.
Well, we're gonna find out the truth. Let's talk. And allegations of forgery. Let's go.
That is going already dark.
The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of investigation was the deputy chief of police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago too then? He was the best we had, and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous. Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth? What I want to know is why was a deputy chief of police on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't... Of course not. I didn't touch the evidence. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, Chief Prosecutor wanted to know something. My sister? What? You still working on that scientific investigation? Huh? Yes, of course. Why, just today, Mr. Wright and I were using this. Luminal testing fluid, Well then, you might have use for this. Aluminum powder for taking fingerprints. It's been chemically treated for better adhesion. For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know. I have no say in today's investigation. Do as you will.
Plus, you know, if it can give some problems to Gant, I just win out of this.
Edgeworth, I'm really... No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved.
Everyone.
Thanks! How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well?
He wouldn't know how to read those.
Probably not. We got the set and the file. Well, let's get going. One last investigation. Right. I do seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere. Oh, I love you, but we gotta go. We gotta go. Underground parking lot, and then we gotta go. Now we
What
gotta
happened to
go
Angel Star?
to the police department entrance. Then we gotta go. Wait.
What about the Gumshoe?
We gotta go to the locker.
Yeah. What happened to... You know what? They're all gone.
Everyone
Supper.
disappeared.
Something. They're all dead.
Here we go.
February 23, Evidence Room, Sector 3.
Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint. Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker. Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed.
Enlarge.
Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger. A finger? Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that will have left behind the clearest print, which would be, I guess... They say finger, but should I do the thumb?
Yeah, it's still valid, but the way that the thumb is probably turned and won't be touching entirely the surface.
Quit
Technically, they can be a
and choose a finger.
Technically... Oh, sorry.
I guess we're gonna... I wanna know. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done. Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes. First, we sprinkle the aluminum powder around. Huh? How do you do that? Just point and press the button. See? Ah, it looks like that did the trick.
There's a button on that too. We also had that on the luminol bottle.
The aluminum powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess. Huh? How do I do that? Maybe shake the Wii remote would have been a more accurate way of
Blow
putting it.
into the DS microphone.
Right. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake with a fan. See? Wow, that looks like fun. It Might take some getting used to, though.
Looks. I like how they adapted the text for the whole Wiimote thing.
Yeah, it's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. Okay.
Challenge accepted.
Time to get high. Let's go.
On aluminum.
No, we don't condone that stuff. That's a no-no. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright. I guess I better give it a try. Okay, so.
Spark. Spring.
Oh, look at that. Aha! You did it! You found one. But it looks nothing like a fingerprint. Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't. What does it mean? I think it means we're out of luck. Out of luck? The person who left this handprint must have worn gloves. Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here. Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints? Other prints? Looking at the locker door again closely. Oh. It seems that there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print. Fingerprints outside the blood. So this one.
Just dump the whole thing.
Just dunk it.
Clear.
Yay! A print so clear, it's dazzling. Dazzling? Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away. So we're not done yet? This is quite a process. Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right? I guess she's right. Look at the new fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth and point out the person you think left these prints. Huh? How am I supposed to know who it was? I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprints are in different places, right? That means the prints probably don't have anything to do with our case. So whose fingerprint would we most likely find on this evidence locker? Would be Gumshoe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Look at that skill going up.
Comparison complete. Match
Match
found. Aha! So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoe. Something wrong, Mr. Wright? You gave me this so what look. I guess that's probably because I was thinking so what. Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright. Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out.
Let's check it out.
It's over here, wasn't it? Oh, do I have to do it again, or?
I think if you examine...
This is where we got the luminal fluid reaction, right? Right! There was a handprint here. Okay, want to try using this? There go her eyes, sparkling again. Check for prints. Okay, let's check for prints. That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first. What? The area with the blood was wiped away, right? We only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area will have been wiped away too. Oh, right. So that means no prints. Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high? Don't ask me. Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped today. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand. What am I,
So it's a little bit of guessing here. Basically, those 3 fingers add blood, so they got wiped away. But there's 5 fingers normally on someone's hand.
So it'd be like right here.
Also, the game is being very kind in telling you where to check.
Yep. It sure is. Whee!
Pixel sticks.
Woo! Oh wait. There you go.
And now to find who's responsible for this.
I believe it would have been me.
What does this mean, I wonder?
Comparison complete. Match found.
Match found.
Hey, these fingerprints, they... Whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know? It's Officer Marshall. Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? That's gotta be the coincidence. He's not involved in the crime. Emma. This are decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's prints. The luminal reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place. Oh! So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped blood stain.
I mean, the way he cuts his beard, that's bound to happen.
But why would Officer Marshall? It looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results. I guess this is what you'd call decisive evidence. I don't believe it.
To be continued.
Right now.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to flow over into that next section.
We're gonna serve.
We're living risky. February 24, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
Let's go. So what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. And a different suspect was arrested at the other crime scene. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So, how'd it go? It's as Mr. Wright suspects. The police are clueless. I figured as much, so I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, they wouldn't see capital punishment. That's what I mean, Emma. But Lana, don't tell me you... Much to my regret, I'm as much in the dark about this as they are. In the sky. We discovered traces left by a certain person in the police department's evidence room. They belong to Officer Jake Marshall. You found Officer Marshall's traces? Bloodstained fingerprints, to be exact. And that's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. And you do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Guy? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. I shall.
February 24, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 9.
Rubble. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is...
Yes, you say.
I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach criminal affairs from the prosecutor's office. The victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? What's more, I hear the victim was from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edwards' car. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself.
Now that's what set Mr. Edwards apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself.
And that's supposed to be an admirable trait?
Very well, let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edwards, you may call your first witness on the day to the stand.
For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department.
The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer?
Hoo boy! Things are getting wild from the get-go. God, he doesn't even look confident. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
Honk! Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that will be murderer, sir. Honk!
So you're telling us you're a professional killer?
Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me, sir.
Actually, we'd like to hear from you.
Sir, and what you will call part of the younger generation, sir. A person whose action adults can possibly comprehend.
Good job at killing yourself. He's that much of a murderer, he's murdering himself.
Please, Mr. Edwards, sir, help me, sir.
Officer Meekins.
Yes, sir.
Give us your report of the crime. Consider that in order.
Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir.
You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm.
No, I think we can fault him for a lot of enthusiasm. Crime report, sir. Witness testimony, sir. Testimony, sir. Testimony, sir. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life, then I did it. After that, I passed out until another officer smacked me awake.
Not woke him up.
Sniffle.
Just smacked him away.
Sniffle.
Aww.
Sniffle.
So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you.
Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir.
I see. Then you fainted, and a colleague helped you regain consciousness.
Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir.
Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination.
But, sir...
What I need here is more info to work with.
Cross-examination, crime reports, sir.
Here we go. Mr. Meekins, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not?
Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir.
Yikes. Now there's a scary thought. Evidence transferal was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed.
I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir.
The Blue Badger?
Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the head detective, sir.
Oh god, it's playing the music.
I was to ensure it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for today, sir.
I see. This sounds like a very, important mission.
After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room.
Why?
Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence room.
Tell us, what did you see when you got there? That seems like the most weirdest, reason to take it there. But sure, whatever.
It's Meekins.
In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I correct?
Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck.
So then, your ID number should be listed in here, right?
There it is! I found it! This is the one right here.
Could you please read us the number?
Yes, sir! It's 4989596! That's my number, sir!
I see. Huh? But the number is shown as being used twice. Please explain, witness.
It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down.
I see. So it was during that second time when...
Yes, sir. That was when I spotted a man on the security screen.
Data added to the ID card record. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you?
It was a knife, sir. A knife!
Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then?
Well, with me charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was.
You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into.
That's when I reacted, sir. I swung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand.
Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand wouldn't be...
When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I entered a state of primal rage. I grabbed the man by his collar.
What exactly do you mean when you say you did it?
I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into Kung Fu. I did that joke earlier. But I'm really into Kung Fu films, sir. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him.
You took his knife?
Then I assumed a crouching tiger position and I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man.
I see. You must have been desperate.
The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then the next thing I knew...
Yes?
He punched me right in my face, sir!
Ow. About what time did you regain consciousness?
No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was conscious.
Oh, right. According to the report from the officer that woke up the witness, it was about 5:30.
He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying tears of pain.
That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is.
When I came around, though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir.
Your mission?
Yes, sir. The Blue Badger, sir. I returned him to the entrance before things got out of hand.
Well, we can all rest easy now.
I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened.
Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point.
Yes, Officer Beacon?
With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my cell. Chief Gunt delivered it to me just this morning, sir.
The chief delivered it?
What is that? Videotape?
Yes, sir. That's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape and was told it had been mistakenly erased.
That's quite a mistake.
I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at.
Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever.
Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim.
Oh, please stop using that word, murder, sir. It scares me.
Video of a real murder. Just what are we getting ourselves into? Alright, time to...
And how you doing today, Blue Badger?
Person walking. Of course it's covering his face ever so perfectly. And this is when he comes in. And then...
Excuse me, sir. Crouching Tiger! No!
I'm surprised he
Not my
didn't
face!
die.
Ah.
Great.
Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us?
What the hell was that wriggling piece of plywood?
Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire criminal affairs department, sir. It's the Blue Badger, sir.
Why am I not surprised this isn't going smoothly?
Yes, well, anyway, this tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room, and some sort of activity did take place.
Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incomplete footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins?
Yes, sir. As you wish, sir. Witness testimony, mystery man.
Let's go.
His face can't be clearly seen in the video, but there's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him! No one else could have been locked in!
What's this about a fingerprint?
Each detective has been given a locker equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to.
Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defendant may begin his cross-examination.
I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start.
Cross-examination, mystery man.
Okay. Tell me, were you able to get a good look at him? At the face of the man who attacked you with the knife?
Sir, if you must label people as having seen or not seen the man's face, I believe it will be classified as the latter.
The latter? But you were standing right in front of him, were you not?
More to the point, you are the person who fought him, aren't you?
Oh, yes, sir, but didn't get a clear look at his face, sir. I'm not the kind of guy who looks directly at people when talking to them, would see.
Yeah, that's a good trait for a police officer.
Still, I'm sure it was him. I'll bet my badge on it.
But you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face.
Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen it.
Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify it.
Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or...
Meekins. Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify.
Yes, sir!
You claim the man who brandished a knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you are positive it was him. About these lockers, is there no other way to open them?
No, sir. I myself tried all kinds of methods in the past. They only respond to registered fingerprints, sir.
I wonder what kind of methods he's tried.
If the man
Sneezing at it!
If the man opened the locker's lock, which only responds to its registered fingerprints, then he must be the person the locker was assigned to.
Exactly my point, sir! And this too.
How do you know that information?
I've heard rumors, sir, from people in the know, sir.
People in the know.
The workers in the department cafeteria, sir. They keep me informed. They also listen to my romantic troubles, sir.
For the record, the opened locker did indeed belong to Detective Goodman. I verified this information through a more reliable source.
So the victim opened the locker with his own fingerprint.
However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face.
Sir, if I may say something, sir.
Please do. After all, you are the one being examined.
I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can't testify enough to this, sir.
Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie.
That is, unless the defense can find the problem with it.
Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again.
Is there a problem? There's a problem.
There's always a problem.
Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange.
Strange?
This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not be Detective Goodman.
What? This video contains such a contradiction?
Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal.
Yes, Mr. Edward?
I propose we have the defense point out to us this alleged contradiction in the video. Would want me to point it out.
Very well. Whew. Proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. Whoop. I will now play the security tape. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of.
I have to point out a problem in the video? This is the first time I've ever had to do that.
You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look, and it'll be sure to point out the right thing.
Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video.
How did this guy ever become a police officer?
Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man may not be Detective Goodman?
Do 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 do.
Oh, fudge.
Think you still have a chance?
I need to rewind. How do I do it?
Yeah, that will be B left. Yeah, okay.
Wait, no. Go back.
You forgot to pause. And then...
The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins.
Sir! Do you mean me, sir?
Of course. As I understand, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If the print matches the registered data, the light turns on and the lock is released.
According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir.
If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. Well, video, if we really were being close, but sure.
It's just a collection of pictures, sir. Don't be like that. That's an enchanted picture.
When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind it to a little earlier. So slow. Here, notice the light?
What's this? It's already lit. Lit indeed. That be lit.
Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle.
Order. What's the meaning of this?
It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked.
Ooh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this.
That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction.
Oh, well, that just goes to show you novices should keep their mouth shut. So then, Mr. Wright, do you have an explanation?
Me, Your Honor?
Yes, why wasn't the locker locked?
Me, Your Honor? Yes, well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator?
Huh? Oh, maybe something like jammed the electronic system?
Something jammed the sensor? Say, something else that seems out of place in this video.
Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage.
Very well, let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked, but Mr. Wright, please point out the cause for this.
Hey kids, let's make it a blue badger. Don't forget to do your taxes.
Right there. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Oh wait, shoot. Did I do it too early? I think I did it too early.
No, you did it. You're fine.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Something happened. Oh, there we go. I was like, there was no music, and like usually they kind of had music playing.
What's this? Something white fell out of the ladder.
But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are open. I often fall out and roll great.
We can't be sure that item was in the locker to begin with.
What do you mean?
The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door?
Inserted?
Silence again, though it should really play
I'm going to show it
music,
one
but
more
it's
time.
not. Why? It's weird. This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor.
Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing, my tie
But the
chokes
object
me.
would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door.
Not only that, it would also have to block electrical currents. It would need to be an insulator.
Yes, an insulator, but at the crime scene.
There just might have been something that fits the description.
But sir, by insulator you don't mean...
I think I finally got this figured out. Let's...
Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence?
Yes, please. What was... Yes, let me do it. Where is it? The gloves! I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove.
But we can't be sure that was the victim's locker.
It has a tag that says SL9 incident. The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins?
Sir!
Order, order, order. So we are to believe then that the victim who this witness stabbed in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman?
Do not be misled, Your Honor.
What do you mean, Mr. Edward?
The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this.
Sir! Me, sir? Not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir.
Is this a joke?
This entire game is a joke.
Very well. Begin your testimony.
Let's try. Try to get through this.
Witness testimony, Mr. Ementu. Blah. There's one other thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used this card.
An ID card record, I see.
I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim.
Just before the crime, Yes, without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transfer. Why were there so few people using this room?
This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff.
Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end.
Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared by noon.
Right, I see. Now, let us move on to the cross-examination. Let's do this.
Cross-examination, Mr. Ementu.
Okay. So unlike your earlier testimony, you believe this to be rock solid, do you?
Yes, sir. Solid as stone, sir. If my hand wasn't wrapped in bandages, I'll even give the V for victory sign, sir.
Couldn't he just use his right hand for that?
Let's hear him out. The witness can't afford to make any more mistakes.
Is that card hanging from your neck one of these ID cards?
Yes, sir. This got right next to my cuff, sir. I keep it here so I won't ever forget it.
But what if someone were to steal it from you, keeping it out in the open like that?
Maybe I shouldn't wear it around my neck. I remember when I said 2 out of 3 times my tie gets stuck on my car door when I get out. Well, the remaining time my ID card gets stuck. Instead of the door closing, my ID card chokes me.
Maybe I should just leave this one alone. At any rate, each police officer has only one ID card. Both the police department and the prosecutor's office can attest to this.
Please proceed with your testimony.
Let it be noted that this is the record the witness referred to.
Let me see. Yes, that would be it. Detective Goodman.
What's the matter?
According to this, Mr. Edward, your name is on here.
So it is, Your Honor.
Not that prosecutor again.
Hey, maybe behind all this, being a prosecutor, he could hide evidence. Mommy, is that man in blue a murderer?
Shh! Don't stare at him. You got the wrong color, kid.
Also, why you bring a kid in a murder trial?
Those are dumb.
It would seem the inquiry committee will want to speak with you again today.
I have nothing to be ashamed of regarding my actions or their consequences. For now, let us continue with the cross-examination.
Poor Mr. Edgeworth. It must be so difficult for him.
Earlier, I believe, you testified that when you asked the man to show his ID card, he pulled a knife on you.
Yes, sir. He didn't show me any ID card, sir.
Don't you think that's odd? I mean, if he had his ID card, all he had to do was show it to you. There wouldn't be any reason to draw a knife.
Maybe he just panicked.
Everything stems from contradictions. Let's point them out.
Mr. Wright, what do you think?
I'm confused.
What?
The problem with this ID card testimony is far too obvious. It's not like Edgeworth to miss something like this.
You're thinking too hard about it. Come on, let us show them what we got.
Okay, so... Wait one moment, Officer Meekins.
I'm not good at waiting, sir.
I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene.
That makes sense.
No. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. You're not doing anything.
Don't die now.
He gets to me every time. Every time. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card.
A lost item report? It's only half completed.
But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess, you believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure, but there is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card.
Order. So now, what does this all mean?
It can only mean one thing. It doesn't require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card.
Order. Does this prosecution have a response?
I have only one thing to say to the defense. Huh? Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo? Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. At 5:15 on the day of the crime, the man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. What is he up to? That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in the evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. That is... Well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago you seemed content to be pointing your finger... You, dude! Point your damn finger! This isn't good. Damn it, he's doing it! Well, it seems you finally realize exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove.
Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth.
The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department at 5:15 on the day of the crime.
So
the real crime could only take place at one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. the murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness. Observe the moment that the defendant used the murder weapon. Ah! Great. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It's all a trap from the beginning.
The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Beacons encountered, and where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman.
Just so, Your Honor.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something or else Lana...
What do I do? How am I supposed to get myself out of this mess? I had to object. One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost walked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? This cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder.
Yes. Yes.
But why did we have to play this whole thing now? However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter.
Mr. Edward,
Yes, Your Honor.
if this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand.
Mr. Wright, do you mean...
Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness.
A parrot.
Do you have in mind?
Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The
A parrot.
prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply.
Very well then. Mr. Wright, this person whom you would testify, what is his or her name?
A parrot.
Officer Jake Marshall. Not a parrot. Why him? Can't let him know everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence room. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare.
Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time?
We will, Your Honor.
Court in recess.
And we did it. February 24, 11:32 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
All right. There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out.
Lana, you're the one who knows everything.
Emma.
You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you.
I don't recall ever asking for his protection.
How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me?
Oh, I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. No way.
Oh, Detective Gumshoe. What is it?
You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals.
I'm sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey! I didn't see you there, Miss Sky.
That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
Oh. You mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name?
Never in a million years I would have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident.
But Lana, that's...
I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case.
Witness? Miss Sky was a witness?
Take it from me, you don't want anything to do with serial murders. Oh, what? Not that I've brought you your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Emma. But why? Why is your name in here?
What? My name's in there. I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, this SL9 incident, is that...
That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killings.
The Joe Dark? No. No, Lana! That's over with. No!
Whoa, Emma, wait! She ran away.
You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here. Away!
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Ross Edgeworth. Not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you, you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file.
And now it's to be continued as we go deeper and deeper.
This is
and
freaking long.
deeper.
Okay. In the next episode, I think this is it? No? Is this it?
We're having a... No, it's not going to be it, but we have a date with a Texas Ranger.
Oh, boy. I do. In the next episode, we will now be questioning Officer Jake Marshall into finding out what's really going on. That wasn't Detective Goodman. And why was it so? And yeah. So this was Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, with me and Nightshade.
And we're setting off into the sunset.
And with that, we are out of here.
Bye!